A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. We are again in our social science class, and our today's topic is rocks. Well, first of all, let's see what's a rock. Any natural mass of mineral matter that makes up the Earth's crust is called a rock. Any natural mass of mineral matter that makes up the Earth's crust is called a rock. कोई भी कुदरती मादनी शाई जो ज़मीन की ऊपरी तह में शामिल है इसको हम रॉक या चट्टान कहते हैं. Now there are different types of rocks. We have three major types of rocks. These are number 1, igneous rocks, number 2, sedimentary rocks, and number 3, metamorphic rocks. Let us see what the igneous rocks are. Igneous, it is a word having its origin in Latin word ignis, meaning fire. When molten magma cools, it becomes solid. Rocks thus formed are called igneous rocks. When molten magma cools, it becomes solid. Rocks thus formed are called igneous rocks. They are also called primary rocks. There are two types of igneous rocks. Well, there are two types of igneous rocks. A, intrusive rocks, and B, extrusive rocks. First, let us see about the extrusive rocks. These are actually extrusive igneous rocks. Can you imagine lava coming out from the volcanoes? Lava is actually fiery red molten magma coming out from the interior of the earth on its surface. It rapidly cools down and becomes solid. Rocks formed in such a way on the crust are called extrusive igneous rocks. They have a very fine-grained structure. For example, basalt. Basalt is an example of the extrusive igneous rocks. The Deccan Plateau is made up of basalt rocks. The Deccan Plateau is made up of basalt rocks. Now, there is the second form of igneous rocks, which is called intrusive igneous rocks. Sometimes the molten magma cools down deep inside the Earth's crust. Solid rocks so formed are called intrusive igneous rocks. When molten magma cools down deep inside the Earth's crust, solid rocks so formed are called intrusive igneous rocks. Since they cool down slowly, they form large grains. Granite is an example of such a rock. Grinding stones used to prepare paste and powder of spices and grains are made up of granite. This is an example of the granite rocks. Now there is the second form of rocks, second type of rocks, second major type of the rocks, that is sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary word, it is derived from the Latin word sedimentus, sedimentum meaning settle down. Rock rolls down, cracks and hit each other and are broken down into small fragments. When rocks roll down, they crack and they hit each other and are broken down into small fragments. These smaller particles are called sediments. The smaller particles of the rocks, broken rocks, are called sediments. These sediments are transported and deposited by wind, water, etc. These loose sediments are compressed and hardened to form layers of rocks. When these loose sediments are compressed and hardened to form layers of rocks, these types of rocks are called sedimentary rocks. For example, sandstone is made from grains of sand. These rocks may also contain fossils of plants, animals, and other organisms, microorganisms that once lived on them. Now, what's a fossil? Fossil means the remains of the dead plants and animals trapped in the layers of rocks. These are called fossils. Now the third type of the rock, third major type of the rock is metamorphic rock. Metamorphic is derived from the Greek word metamorphos, meaning this metamorphic is Greek word metamorphos. Its origin is the Greek word metamorphos, meaning change of form. Igneous and sedimentary rocks can change into metamorphic rocks. Igneous and sedimentary rocks can change into metamorphic rocks under great heat and pressure. For example, clay changes into slate. So slate is a metamorphic rock, and limestone into marble. These are the types of metamorphic rocks. Uses of rocks. Rocks are very useful to us. The hard rocks are used for making roads, houses, and buildings. You also use stones in many games. For example, 7 stones or pitu as you call it, or 5 stones. In Kashmiri we call it trup, hopscotch, etc. Now, rock cycle. There's a term, rock cycle. You will be surprised to know that one type of rock changes into another type under certain conditions in a cyclic manner. This process of transformation of the rock from one to another is known as the rock cycle. You have already learned when the molten magma cools, it solidifies to become igneous rock. These igneous rocks are broken down into small particles that are transported and deposited to form sedimentary rocks. When the igneous and sedimentary rocks are subjected to heat and pressure, they change into metamorphic rocks. The metamorphic rocks, which are still under great heat and pressure, melt down to form molten magma. This molten magma again can cool down and solidify into igneous rocks. For example, you can refer to figure number 2.4 on your textbook, page number 7. That will clear you the concept of this rock cycle. Now you may have seen Taj Mahal, that's made up of white marble, and Red Fort in Delhi, which is made up of sandstone. So these are the different types of rocks. The three major types of rocks: igneous rocks. Number 1, igneous rocks. Number 2, sedimentary rocks, and number 3, metamorphic rocks. Now rocks are made up of different minerals. What are the minerals? Minerals are naturally occurring substances which have certain physical properties and definite chemical composition. Minerals are very important to humankind. Some are used as fuels, for example, coal, natural gas, and petroleum. These are some forms of minerals. They are also used in industries, suppose iron, aluminium, gold, uranium, etc. These are the different kinds of minerals. Now there are some questions for you at the end of the lesson. What is a rock? Or what are the 3 types of rocks? How are the extrusive and intrusive rocks formed? What do you mean by a rock cycle? What are the uses of rocks? You can refer to your textbook and try to answer these questions and note them on your notebook and memorize them. So that's all for today. Thank you.